We've got the refreshed Mazda CX-5.
I'll translate. That's Mazda CX-5. It's got a new infotainment system and more. Let's go for a spin.
Ooh.
Of course they gave us the top model.
Of course.
What's under the hood of this one?
A 2.5-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder engine with a 6-speed automatic transmission. With premium fuel, you'll get 250 horsepower and 320 pound-feet of torque. Regular fuel, 227 horsepower, 310 pound-feet of torque. Optional front wheel and all-wheel drive.
Now the base engine is this engine without the turbocharger. 2.5-liter 4-cylinder, 6-speed automatic, 187 horsepower, and 186 pound-feet of torque. But what else do you get with this? What are the key standard features?
The base trim comes with a 10.25-inch display with Mazda Connect, Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, push-button start, heated front seats, manual rear seat recline, LED headlights, 17-inch wheels, i-Activsense safety features, including blind spot monitoring and rear cross-traffic alert, and forward obstruction warning.
I love the control wheel in the center. What are we going to put it in, Andrea?
Well, you got to put it in S for subscribe, and if you can hit the notification bell, you'll be notified when all of our reviews drop, and then you can watch them.
And we do this, the couple car review, twice a week. The first one drops on Wednesday.
We put out another couple car review on Saturday.
So don't forget, hit the button and the bell, and if you want to follow along on Instagram, it's Motormouth_Andrea. For me, it's Motormouth_Auto, and the links are below. This video is brought to you by Car Cost Canada. Get the dealer's cost, list of rebates, plus discounted interest rates. Use the promo code Motormouth to become an expert member and get extra searches. The link is in the description below.
I am a big fan of this turbo engine. It has the power, it's responsive, the handling is agile. I like this heavier steering.
Okay, I'm just going to stop right there. Let's just call it what it is. Andrea is a Mazda fangirl.
I really am.
You really
do
like this brand.
Mazda. I love even the exterior, which we'll get into, and the simplicity of it all.
Mm-hmm. That's why she likes me, because I'm simple.
You're easy to manage.
So I often put vehicles in different camps. There's like the good everyday A to B, just transportation kind of vehicles.
Yeah.
And then those that appeal to people that want more. They want a little bit more engagement. They're slight enthusiasts. They like a vehicle to give them feedback. This definitely goes into the more fun category.
For sure. It has a real sporty feel for it. This has 19-inch wheels. You do hear a bit of road noise, but they do have winter tires on this vehicle right now. And I think that is contributing to that noise.
But the steering feel and the inputs and the way you interact with the car. So Mazda has this philosophy. It's about the horse and the rider being one.
Yeah.
Can you imagine riding a horse down the beach bareback? You've got to work with the horse and work together. That's their whole philosophy behind the way they engineer their cars. So from where you're sitting as the driver, do you feel like you are connecting with the car?
Absolutely. I think that Mazda has nailed it with this turbo engine. I find that the steering on, let's say, an Audi product is really light. This one is heavier, and I prefer it, believe it or not, over something like the Q3 or the Q5.
Now, they certainly have a design philosophy that I think is one of the better looking mainline cars on the road.
Yeah, me too. They've got light and shadow reflecting off of the exterior, and they believe that when the car is at a standstill, that it still has movement.
Now, one of the complaints I have of this product is when you went up to this top trim and you got the turbocharged engine, there's really nothing differentiating it from the sort of base model car.
Yes.
So let's go to a German brand like Audi, for example. You just touched on Audi. So you have a regular A4, and then you get the S4.
Yes.
Well, the S4, you know right away it's a special trim, and you don't get that with Mazda, and apparently that's going to come. So Mazda as a brand tries to straddle two worlds. Their entry-level products appeal to the masses and compete with other mainline manufacturers, but their higher end trims like the one we're in here is like a Mazda premium. They really believe that they compete with premium vehicles, and I would say, yeah, they do.
Well, the fit and finish for sure in here. This top trim has a Nappa leather interior. You really don't see that very often, even on the luxury brands anymore. Lots of soft materials, very little hard plastic. And this Abachi wood trim that you see is in the front, but it also also carries onto the rear, which is surprising for this category.
So let's touch on that Audi you talked about, the Q3.
Yeah.
So this vehicle has a more powerful engine, and it has arguably, I think it does have a nicer interior than the Q3.
Yes.
And it is less expensive, or it's comparably priced. So does that Audi badge mean enough for you to buy that over this?
No.
No, you'd buy this.
I would buy this just because I like the drive better of the CX-5.
So that's one example. If you go through the product range of many of the other import competitors, you start to see, when you look at this interior with the fit and finish and the materials and the features that it has, it really does compete.
Yeah, it has elevated itself. I think that the only thing that Mazda is missing with this interior is a touchscreen. Okay, and a panoramic sunroof, but you do get a moonroof. People are looking for a touchscreen, and having the option of both, I think, is super important. You know, one up from the base model offers a lot. You don't have to go up to this top trim if it's not within your budget. You get the power tailgate, a heated steering wheel, power driver seats, and I think that that might be enough for some people. The Curo trim is this sporty trim where you have black accents on the exterior and the black grille, and of course the leather interior. That's red if you love that look. It doesn't come with the turbo engine, but that's okay. I think that base engine also offers some great horsepower and torque.
Yeah, it's fun to drive. There's no question about it. And when you kick it, it goes.
And then that GT trim where you get the offering of the base engine or the turbo engine is also available. That's where you're going to get heated rear seats and ventilated front seats, navigation, and then the top signature trim, you get that 360 camera and front and rear parking sensors.
We do have a great question coming up in just a second with Questions, Coffee, and Cars talking about the backseat, but I'll show you quickly me getting into the backseat. It certainly is what I would call adequate, and the seats themselves I find are quite comfortable. Andrea, what about carry-on in a cooler?
Well, hey, it fit perfectly back there. It was no problem at all, but this does not offer best-in-class overall cargo space or cargo space behind the second row. In fact, it offers the least in this category amongst the competition like the Rogue, the Tiguan, CR-V, Tucson, and the RAV4.
All right, we talked about it already. The questions, let's get into them.
Time now for Questions, Coffee, and Cars.
Your questions from Instagram.
Is the CX-50 replacing this CX-5? No, it's not. Mazda says it stays.
So the CX-50, for those that are not aware, is a new utility that's coming out shortly. And it's based on this platform. Actually, all Mazdas are based on the same platform. It's a slightly more rugged take on this.
Yeah, and it is a little bit longer than the CX-5, so you'll have a little bit more space, which I think is quite nice.
Now, will they phase this out eventually? We don't know. What they're saying right now is they're both going to be sold at the same time.
Is there a panoramic sunroof yet? No, there is not. Still a moonroof in here, but wouldn't it look amazing with a panoramic sunroof?
This is what I like. If I'm going to have a sunroof, I just want a little one, and I keep it like this. Perfect.
This is a good compromise for Zach and I must say, the moonroof. It works well. I get some light in here, and Zach feels like he doesn't get a sunroof at all.
I'm a vampire.
I really love the CX-5. Only thing that's stopping me from buying one is the space and storage. If you're a family with one small kid, do you think the CX-5 is a good option, or should we opt in for the CX-9? Also, let us know if the seats are still a bit firm.
This is a misconception about this vehicle that's carried over from the previous generation, which was too small in my opinion. And they made it bigger, but they didn't really announce too much about that. I think a lot of people think it's still really squishy in the back, and it's not.
No, it is pretty good. It gets 39.6 inches of space, and you know what? Yes, the Tucson and the CR-V are bigger, but this has more second row legroom than the RAV4.
Yeah,
now, Zach
I just want to say one thing.
Wait, I'm just going to finish first. Zach and I always say, how do car companies measure these seats? Are they pushing it forward?
Like the front seats all the way forward. I think that's what they do. So there's apparently a standard where you have somebody of a certain height sitting in the driver's seat and then you measure it. But I think a lot of car companies slide this seat all the way forward and then they measure it. Because you can see see with the images for yourself, me climbing in the back seat, it is not, in my opinion, the largest in this class.
No.
But yes, you could easily get by. With one kid, no problem with it.
But if you are planning on growing your family and you want to keep your vehicle for a long period of time, the CX-9 is another great option. However, when the third row is up, there's not a lot of space in the cargo area behind that third row.
Yeah, but it's not a bad jump to go from this top turbo
Yeah.
to sort of an entry level of the CX-9 because it comes with the same engine.
Yeah.
So you're getting the premium engine in a bigger vehicle. So run the numbers and see which works better for you.
Looks great on the inside. How is the infotainment just controlled by the dial? I'll let Zach go first because he loves this.
I love a dial to control the infotainment system. This always reminds me of the older MMI system from Audi. We used to have it in our Audi A7, and I like it. I like having a volume knob there. So simple, but it's right there. I can change the radio, change the volume, and it don't have to touch the screen, and it never gets dirty.
And now this update comes with a 10.25-inch screen. In the US, your 2021 model got the upgrade, but in Canada, we didn't get it. Now we have it. It is so much faster. Zach and I complained about the previous model and it being pretty laggy.
Yeah.
This is a big improvement. Now, would I like a touch screen in here as well? I would love one. That's not an option.
Okay, I'll give you,
maybe one day.
You get a panoramic roof or a touchscreen. What are you choosing?
Oh, Zach, that's so
You got
tough
one
for
to
me.
choose.
I
What do
think
you
I'll
got?
go for the touch screen and the moonroof.
And now it's time for our hot topic. What's this one, Andrea?
I wonder how the 2022 will improve over this one. I hear it will get an extra 6 horsepower.
So, big breaking news. The updated 2022 model with this turbo gets 6 more horsepower. Trust me, nobody will be able to tell the difference.
No, I don't think so. 6 horsepower isn't a lot, but hey, it's something. So I've got my notes. I took some notes about what's coming up in 2022. One of the big ones is standard all-wheel drive in Canada. There is
Really?
going to be no longer a front-wheel drive option. Updates to the drive mode, the seats. Some of you have complained about the seats feeling too firm, so they are changing that. There's going to be some sort of a redesign. I don't find the seats too firm, but I wouldn't say they're plush.
No, I think they're supportive.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a very subjective thing. People ask us this all the time. You have to try any car to see if you like the seats.
There's going to be changes to the exterior a bit and the suspension. The drive will also be noticeably smoother. There's going to be some improvements to the 6-speed automatic transmission. The refreshed exterior styling includes a new front fascia, headlights and taillights, new aluminum alloy wheels. The GT model, which we talked about, always look the same as the other trims. There are going to be updates so that you'll know you're driving the GT. There's going to be a new sport appearance package with some black gloss on the exterior and also red accents and stitching to the interior.
So that begs the question, why the heck would you buy this? Like, why would you buy this? Is it because you could be a deal maybe?
Maybe you might be able to get a deal, but I don't know with the chip shortage what's going on there.
If you have to buy a car, if you have to get a car now, your car's clapped out, it's dead, someone hit it, you need a new car, buy the car you can get.
For sure.
If you're not in a rush and time is on your side and your car is perfectly fine, and most cars people are driving today can make it another year or so, maybe order the 2022.
Yeah.
And then when it comes in, you can decide whether you want to take it. If you don't want it, the dealer will have no problem selling it because they don't have any cars to sell right now. So that's my advice. But this is the most competitive, hotly contested section of the marketplace. What else can you buy for your money?
For your consideration, 4 vehicles for you to consider.
Up first is the Toyota RAV4. It has a 2.5-liter 4-cylinder engine with an 8-speed automatic transmission, 203 horsepower, and an all-wheel drive starting price of $30,690.
Next is the Nissan Rogue with a 2.5-liter 4-cylinder matched with a CVT, 181 horsepower, and all-wheel drive with a starting price of just over $31,000.
The Honda CR-V has a 1.5-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder engine matched with a CVT, 190 horsepower, and an all-wheel drive starting price of $33,500.
The Hyundai Tucson with a 2.5-liter 4-cylinder engine and an 8-speed automatic transmission, 187 horsepower, and an all-wheel drive starting price of just under $30,000. So there are 4 compact utilities for you to consider. So what kind of power do you get? What's the warranty, the fuel economy, all of that? Let's get into it with our vital stats.
Let's start with pricing. The base front-wheel drive model is just over $29,000, and the base all-wheel drive model is just under $31,000. The turbo starts at $40,750, and our top trim, the Signature, is just under $43,000. J.D. Power gives the 2021 Mazda CX-5 an impressive overall score of 82 out of 100. And a quality and reliability score of 81 out of 100. CarEdge states the CX-5 will retain 55% of its value over 5 years.
Here's the fuel economy for the base engine with all-wheel drive. 9.8 liters per 100 kilometers in the city, 7.9 on the highway. That's 24 miles per gallon city, 30 miles per gallon highway. With the turbo, it's 10.8 liters per 100 kilometers in the city, 8.7 on the highway. That's 22 miles per gallon city, 27 miles per gallon highway. The towing capacity is 2,000 pounds. Mazda offers a warranty of 3 years, but unlimited kilometers in Canada, or 3 years, 36,000 miles in the US. Lightning round, 2 things we like, 2 things we like to see improve.
Well, I think it's pretty obvious. I love this turbo engine with all of the power.
And it's a great handling vehicle.
What I'd love to see, wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto.
And I'd love a big panoramic sunroof.
Oh, what a liar. What a fun and sporty SUV. It never disappoints when I get into a CX-5.
And actually offers a lot of value compared to some premium offerings out there. Well done, Mazda. This video is brought to you by Car Cost Canada. Get the dealer's cost, list of rebates, plus discounted interest rates. Use the promo code Motormouth to become an expert member and get extra searches. The link is in the description below.